Guru ends delusion, bestows supreme peace. One may visit any number of holy places and bathe in any number of sacred rivers. Even then, his ajnana, meaning ignorance, will not reduce even by a wee bit. This work is possible only by a Sadguru. Guru does not give things material. By materialistic possessions and their enjoyment, no one can ever get peace and contentment. That is why Guru never tries to satisfy one by granting worldly things. He will grant his devotee the vision of the absolute and eternal truth and will end his delusion once for all. When to a devotee who was full of ignorance before, if the existence of the reality is proved, then that devotee becomes absolutely fearless and enjoys supreme peace. Believing as real the illusion he sees with his eyes, and also believing as light and knowledge the darkness and ignorance before him, man is in a never-ending confusion and turmoil. Only a guru can help him out by giving him the right knowledge. He will tell him, "You are none of these things. You are bliss itself. You are not this body. You have nothing to do with the troubles and misfortunes connected with your body." By showing this, he ends all his doubts and solves all his problems. Go wherever you want. You can never get rid of your wretchedness. You can never erase your nagging doubts inside you. But when you come to the Guru, he will make all the doubts and miseries lose their vigor and intensity. That is why whatever work you do, whether others approve of it and appreciate it, does not matter. It is enough if it meets with the approval of the Guru and he appreciates it. Even if others appreciate it, you gain nothing out of it. In our lives, we should behave in such a way that we do not harm others. We do not hurt the feelings of others. We should be very careful about this aspect in whatever we do. Even if we don't like doing a certain thing, if it is going to bring happiness and joy to others, we can do that job. Besides, we should not have the feelings of I and mine in whatever we do. If we have, we see only faults and defects in everything. Devotees will be having many defects like these and also lack the proper understanding of spiritual matters. Indifference and lack of enthusiasm in doing their sadhana, etc., will also be lurking inside them. Guru eradicates all such faults. One will not get this if one reads books or listens to lectures. When one reads books or listens to lectures, one does so mechanically. But if he goes to the Guru and surrenders to him with faith and devotion, Guru will take charge of him. Guru will be ever ready and ever vigilant to protect his devotee, to rescue him from all trials and tribulations, and finally redeem him. The trident, meaning Trishula, which Datta is holding in his hand, represents his assurance to the devotee that he will take him to the absolute truth, Parabrahman, beyond waking, dream, and deep sleep states. The Sudarshana chakra he is holding indicates that he will slash off his ajnana, meaning ignorance, and take him to mukti, that is, liberation. Like this, Datta is standing ever ready to redeem his devotees. In the same way, we should always be ready to finish our duties and our schedule of works. Whatever work we have to do, we should start it at the right time and do it quickly with enthusiasm, dexterity, and sincerity, and finish it to our complete satisfaction. We may sit and relax after the work is done. Whatever the work, even if it is only eating, we must do that and finish it. It is only then that the Guru will be pleased with us. It does not matter how others feel about it. When you come to the Guru, when you are following his instructions, there should be no room for laziness and lethargy. Leaving everything aside, you should finish Guru's instructions first and then go to him. Let others feel in whatever way they want. Thinking of Krishna It appears Mirabai would enter into divine consciousness and dance in the street itself. It was enough if her Krishna was pleased with her. It did not worry her in the least how others felt about it. Once, Mirabai went to a Krishna temple. The priest stopped her at the door and told her that ladies could not go inside, but only gents can. Then it appears she uttered a profound and supreme truth. She told him, it appears, "How can you be a gent? Krishna is the only man in the world. All others who love him and are fond of him, and to whom he is beloved, are ladies only. You are also a lady only. Otherwise, you wouldn't have worshipped him with love and reverence." He I am. Devotee. Appaji, I do a particular nama japa for some time every day and then forget all about it. Afterwards, whatever name I happen to remember, I do the japa of it. Now, my trouble is which nama japa I should do. There is a lot of confusion and distress in my mind. Will you kindly solve it, Appaji? Appa. There is only one God and only one name. There is no second name at all. The devotee should see only that name and nothing else. He should hold fast to that name. First of all, he should understand that there is absolutely no difference between one name and the other. Once he attains this equanimity, then he can do japa of any name. Let there be 100,000 names, they are all the same. Let the name be anything. It is enough if the mind is filled with remembrance of God. Then one comes to realize that all the names are same. In the world, thousands of people have made thousands of names and mantras. If one says to himself that he will never repeat the name or mantra of another person, his ego will get puffed up. On the other hand, if he goes on repeating the other man's mantra, fear arises in him that he has given up his own mantra and taken to another man's mantra. But once he is convinced that all mantras are the same, then he has no trouble at all. That means that the devotee has risen to a higher level of understanding. Dattatreya has said, all the 7 crore Maha Mantras only delude the mind. The twin-lettered mantra given by the Guru is the king of all mantras. He means all the 7 crore mantras only confuse the mind. They won't produce single-mindedness or total absorption of the mind. To attain moksha or liberation, the twin-lettered mantra Soham is more than sufficient. It is not related to any particular body, name or form. Soham mantra japa should be done along with normal breathing. Breath and this japa should be paired together, fused together. We should take in every breath along with so and breath out with hum. Every time we breathe in and breathe out, it should be with so, hum, so, hum. Even when one is engaged in talking, the Soham japa should go on uninterruptedly without any break. For doing Soham mantra japa, there is no need to control or regulate your breathing as you do in pranayama, meaning control of breath, or any other type of breathing exercise. It should go along with your normal breathing. As you progress in Soham japa, the eyes, that is your gaze and attention, breath and mind join together, fuse together and become one, and you do the japa. The 3 together will be engaged in doing the japa. The eyes, which are always looking outward, will turn their gaze inward automatically by themselves and rivet their attention on the japa along with the mind and the breath. The mind also concentrates and gets totally absorbed in the japa. The three together will rise to higher and higher levels of consciousness till they get established in divine or God consciousness. In other words, they rise to Sahasrara, that is the Brahmarandra or the seat of the Brahman, at the crown of the head. This is called the Samadhi state. Normally, the gaze of the eyes is downwards, that is, towards the materialistic world. When it joins with the mind, which has become relaxed, peaceful, and very, very subtle, and the breath, which has also become highly subtle, all due to Soham Japa, the gaze, that is, the attention, turns upwards and soars higher and higher towards Sahasrara. Towards Sahasrara means towards one's own inner self, meaning Atman. This happens naturally when one progresses in dhyana. The Soham mantra has been described thus. This superb mantra uttered by the Supreme Guru is the lofty technique to reach the Almighty Parabrahman. This mantra is for 3 times 7,000 together with 6 times 100. We breathe 3 times 7,000 plus 6 times 100, 21,600 times a day. And this mantra is meant for repetition 21,600 times a day. That means that not even a single breath is to be wasted without repeating this mantra. This is what we mean when we say that God should become the very breath of our lives. We should get so much absorbed with His remembrance. We should become one with this mantra. We should lose ourselves in the mantra. In other words, we should become one with Him, the God Almighty. Sun and snow disseminate this mantra. The japa of this superb mantra goes on without doing the japa. What the description says is, let it be summer or winter, let it be raining or snowing, there is never any stoppage for this mantra. It goes on without any interruption, without any break. And the second line says that this mantra neither needs lips nor tongue for its repetition. When one is engaged in this japa, the others cannot observe him doing the japa. Not only that, they cannot even know he is doing the japa because it goes on with his normal breathing. This mantra is for the Trinity, the Trimurtis. Sages and ascetics do japa of this sacred mantra. These 2 lines say that the 3 gods, the god of creation, Brahma, the god of preservation, Vishnu, and the god of destruction, Maheshwara, and eminent and illustrious sages and ascetics have attained the goal of their lives by this mantra. No wonder, because this mantra has no name, no form. In fact, words cannot express the greatness of this mantra. It is 1,000,000 times more potent than all other mantras. This mantra sanctifies the mind by totally stopping all its waywardness and whimsicality. It has inside it devotion, steadfastness, and one-pointedness. This is Guru's own saying. If you have full faith in your Guru, take to this mantra. Take this mantra, do japa, and attain the goal of your life. Know what you are. Know yourself. Know that you are God Himself, says Datta. After all, the end of every mantra japa, every namasmarana, is to delve deep inside oneself and find out who or what he is, isn't it? As you go on doing this Soham japa along with your breath, your breathing should go on becoming subtler and subtler. It ultimately becomes so very subtle that the very breathing stops altogether. One at this stage gets a genuine doubt whether he is doing his normal breathing at all. Actually, the requirement of air for a person who has reached such a state gets reduced very drastically. He will be taking in extremely small quantity of air, and that too at long intervals. That will be quite sufficient for him to sustain his life. He need not breathe the way normal people breathe. He has reached this state by his nama japa. The normal breathing of people will be downward faced, adho mukha. It will get transformed to upward faced, urdhva mukha, breathing due to nama japa. In upward faced breathing, there will not be any upward and downward movement of chest and abdominal muscles that we observe in normal persons. One can observe some small little movement in his heart, that's all. That too, if he very carefully observes. If such a person remains in upward faced breathing for a whole day, it would appear as if he is dead, because there will not be any visible signs of his breathing to outside observers. As one proceeds further in his Soham mantra japa, the subtlety goes on increasing, and at the subtlest state, even the Soham mantra stops. He will not be aware of even this. He loses his individual awareness altogether and becomes pure awareness itself. In this state, he is not aware that the Soham mantra has stopped. When you are doing japa of other mantras, the attention you are bestowing on the mantra shifts to something else, and after a while, you become aware of this. Feeling ashamed and disturbed, you begin your mantra japa again. Because in Soham, the japa is fused with your breath, you have to use your mind's attention to keep vigil over the mantra. This is like employing a thief to keep vigil over your things. If you waste one breath without the Soham mantra, it means the mind is not attentive there, but gone elsewhere. When you are doing nama japa, if you entertain other thoughts, or if you yourself begin thinking of other things, it only means that you are no longer doing your nama japa. Only when your mind is free from all thoughts, then it means that the path is correct. In that most sacred state, there are no worries, no thoughts, no desires, no worldly things, nothing. Reach such a supreme state and see what supreme peace and bliss you experience from your sadhana, yoga, dhyana. Of course, this is not possible with everyone. Whosoever is engaged in worship, bhajana, nama japa, dhyana, and other such spiritual practices with full faith, sincerity, and intense craving, for such a one it would be certainly possible. Only such a one is fit for Soham mantra. Let ordinary people do whatever they want. They will never become fit for it. No god will become angry or envious with one engaged in Soham japa. Because the three gods themselves are doing this japa, no difference and deception are possible. Along with Soham, you can engage yourself in other spiritual practices also, like doing bhajana, reciting slokas and stotras, doing sandhya vandana and ritualistic puja, etc. But after all these are over, you should devote yourself exclusively for this japa. You should sit and internally concentrate exclusively on this japa. After all, you do other spiritual practices only to nourish and strengthen this japa yoga. All these other sadhanas are only to help you in this japa yoga. Even when you are traveling, you can comfortably do this japa. You can do this while walking also. The only difference will be, because you require more breath, you have to prolong your Soham mantra also to keep pace with your breath. Even when you are engaged in your Soham mantra japa, your mind will give enough trouble. It will create enough hurdles and impediments in your way. It is only then you know how very unsteady and wavering the mind is. Oh my goodness! You may even feel like breaking your head then. Internally, when you are very seriously concentrating upon fusing your breath, attention, and mantra together inseparably, you should see what pranks and tricks your mind is capable of. You feel like exclaiming, "Oh my God, is it doing such awesome things only to me, or is it the same case with everyone?" Only then you begin to know what your mind is really. But all these things do not apply to one who has gone beyond and far above all such things and reached the pinnacle of spirituality. He has become perfect. He is Purna. He is permanently established in God consciousness. What has he got to do with japa and tapa? What does it matter whether he is meditating or walking or playing or acting to be engaged in this very serious work, or even engaged in warfare? He is always in peace and bliss.
The Lover of Devotees. The one eternal and absolute truth should always be remembered either as God with form or as Parabrahman without form. He can be both with form and without form. Though formless, he can assume a form because of his love for his devotee and appear before him in order to please him. That is why he is called the lover of devotees. It is he who is energizing all our indriyas, meaning organs, both gnanendriyas, meaning organs of cognition or knowledge, and karmendriyas, meaning organs of action, and make them function. In a corpse, all organs are there, but why don't they function? Eyes are there but don't see. Ears are there but don't hear. Why?
In this life, when we are living, we should understand that it is God who is lighting up this body, who is vitalizing this body. To get this enlightenment, one should have devotion and faith in God. They are absolutely necessary. To have faith in God, to have devotion in Him, to love Him and worship Him is not a blind belief without any validity behind it. This faith is in fact the most important thing for a man. However, this faith is not something we can learn from others. One should experience this himself. Then only it can take root inside him and grow. Afterwards, devotion, love, wisdom, everything sprouts and grows in him.
It is enough if one is able to live with the conviction that God is the eternal witness who oversees everything we do. To remember Him, it is not necessary to wear clothes dyed in red or ochre color and smear oneself with white ash, that is vibhuti bhasma. Anyone can go on remembering Him in his mind. Actually, it is only God who is protecting and taking care of everyone in this world. Only with His grace, compassion, and mercy can man live in peace and contentment. In this world, there are any number of people who are blind, lame, and are helpless due to varied reasons. Who is taking care of all such people? It is only God who is protecting them all. The basic needs of everyone in the world is being provided only by His magnanimity. He is actually providing much more than what is necessary for a person. Of what use is all these things and facilities if they fail to bring peace and contentment to the person concerned? Of what use is a soft and luxurious bed if one fails to get sleep lying down upon it? Man can live in comfort and peace only if he is blessed with God's grace. To live like beasts and animals, falling an easy prey to all sorts of vices, is mean life, meaning meaningless life, adhama jivana. To live in the service of the country and people is fair life, that is normal life, madhya matara jivana. to live for God, to live in the constant remembrance of God, helping those in distress to the extent possible is best life. That is godly or divine life, Uttama Jivana. We should learn to remain contented with whatever we get in life, with whatever falls to our lot. Whatever chance or opportunity we get in life, we should take it that it is God's blessing and that it has fallen to our lot out of God's compassion and mercy, and learn to live always in happiness and bliss. Thoughts like, probably I lack in devotion, probably my seva, meaning service, is not up to the mark, are only the result of the mind's mischievousness. We should never lose heart and feel dejected or disappointed. To remain in bliss and joy, to remain happy and contented, and to not worry about things unnecessarily is very helpful to our progress in spirituality. God's voice, His fragrance. The musical swaras, meaning sounds, produced by all the musical instruments in the world cannot equal God's voice. One hears that Om ever singing within all by itself. Even if one attempts to hear it by pressing his ears to the body of the person hearing it, he cannot. If one smells God's fragrance, the very first breath stills all his organs that very instant, and his body collapses as it were in bliss. Its sweetness cannot be described by words, even by the person enjoying it. Onlookers, seeing him collapse, may feel that he might have collapsed due to weakness and exhaustion. The aroma of its fragrance just cannot be expressed in words. The smell, the aroma, the pleasantness, the sweetness of all the flowers in the world, including that of the most fragrant ones, cannot come anywhere near it. People who are near the person inhaling that wonderful fragrance cannot have even the remotest idea of it, even if they press their noses against his body and inhale. They have to reach that state themselves. It just cannot be had for the asking or by proxy.